Well, construction continues on Jefferson and Reifel, but Jefferson, they're putting precast around the gymnasium, and so they're working on that. They're working on where the storm shelter areas, that's all precast. Our first learning suite is getting steel put down. Foundations continue. I think they're, if you look at your drone footage, they're on about the last house as you go south, the last learning suite, and then there's another one yet to happen on the east of that last one. So their goal is probably mid-January to have all the perimeter footings done, and then they'll just start working their way down. They're kind of working with block down that center corridor. They're also working with block in the music wing. You can see that section going up. There's a section, there's kind of a lone section in the back on the east side. That's kind of a tech ed area where the air handlers sit. So they're trying to get, the block so they can set the precast so the air handlers can go in and they can build around them as they go. So it's progressing in a lot of different spots on that building. Good progress. I think they're on schedule, and things are looking good. It's starting to take shape. Well, we've been fortunate that we haven't had a lot of snow. I mean, we've had some cold days, but that building is somewhat designed to erect in the cold, and then once the weather starts getting better, then you'll start doing brick and those sort of things. And another thing on that high school, you'll start seeing some of that auditorium. You can see the footprint of the auditorium, the foundations. That's all precast, so you'll start seeing, once they get done with the gym, they'll move back to that auditorium section. So that will really start formulating what that building's going to look like. So that's all locally made. Gage Brothers is one of the premier ones in the Midwest, so precast manufacturers, so they do a great job. Reifel. That one's a little slower going. It's about half the size, so it can be a little slower going. But that's a masonry, all masonry construction. So what you see going on, I mean, they're making progress, and they assure me that they're on schedule yet, or there might be a little bit behind schedule, but they're going to make it up once the weather breaks. But right now they're working out of shelter, so it's a little slower go with masonry construction. They're working. That academic area is divided into 3 sections: A1, 2, and 3. A3 is ready to start putting joist on, and they'll start putting roof over that. Then they're going to, and that A2 is also starting to be ready for joist. That one big section, that's a big corridor, bearing wall. So once they get through that and then start working, they'll be to where the library is, and they'll start putting floor deck, because there's another layer that goes on top of that. So they're progressing. Their goal is to get through those areas into the area B, and you can see the footings. They're pushing to get footings in that area A1 too. So things are progressing there as well. Just as a little slower go because you're not going to see the steel frame that goes up quickly and kind of formulates a little bit. So yeah, those are the shelters that they're actually laying block inside. So you don't see them. I mean, it's actually pretty toasty in there, even at below zero. So but it's slower. You got to warm up the block. You got to make sure your mortar mixes are correct, and they monitor the temperatures in there because you can't freeze that mortar once they put up. It's got to cure out, and then before they can expose it to the temperature. The road bases are pretty well completed. We've held off on that until spring, so you won't see much going on in that. Not a lot else. The city is moving forward with Marion Road. They're finalizing those designs, so that should be started early spring. I thought I heard that maybe a February, March bid date for Marion Road. So it's all coming together. Let's put it that way.